Josiah Wedgwood, he should be called the father of English potters. Josiah Wedgwood, arguably one of the most important potters in English history, was born in Staffordshire in 1730. He received a very basic education and he walked 6 miles every day to the nearby school, and it said of him he was a master of a capital hand and a fair arithmetician. In other words, he could read and he could write and he could add up, but he did not receive the classical education of a gentleman in the 18th century. When his father died when he was only 9 years of age, he left school and was ultimately apprenticed to his elder brother, who had inherited the pottery. And there he learnt the arts of making ceramics. But I think ceramic history changed when Wedgwood was either 12 or 13 and he contracted smallpox. We don't know which of the two epidemics he caught, but he was laid severely ill. And more importantly, it left him with a severely disabled right knee, which meant he was unable to use the traditional kick wheel in the ceramic industry. And almost certainly this turned Wedgwood inwards to do experiments. And because he was experimenting all the time, he was pushing out the boundaries. And his first major achievement was the development of a cream-coloured earthenware, a fine tableware, which was given royal approbation by Queen Charlotte. But at that time, in the 1760s, the great houses were beginning to be developed, houses that everybody sees on calendars and views of England, and they wanted vases and ornamental ware. And so Wedgwood developed a whole range of vases, which became very much his stock in trade. And those vases were produced in his great ornamental bodies, as he called them, black basalt and jasper, both stonewares. They don't need glazes. They were perfect in their natural clay form. And with those, he was able to do all the wonderful shapes and colours. And with the development in 1775 of his jasper body, which he was justly proud of, and the one material I think synonymous now with the 18th century and still with the company name, he was able to employ the great artists of the day to provide him with those wonderful white designs which look so spectacular on the blue jasper body.
The clay here I'm working with, this is the jasper clay, which is a very fine stoneware made of many different materials from the southwest of England, put together here in the factory to our own special recipe, a recipe that Josiah Wedgwood was putting together 240 years ago. It's a beautiful fine stoneware, very smooth to the touch, with lots of elasticity. If you want clay to work well on the wheel, it needs to have elasticity. Sometimes we are preparing jasper clay by hand, but normally today it's automated. Machines are preparing the clay and making sure that the clay has no air pockets. But sometimes we're doing mixed coloured jasperware, such as this. And here we would need to hand mix, so the colours are coming to me separately, and then I'm mixing by hand. And it's very important to be sure when you're mixing, and we call this wedging. When you're wedging the clay and cutting and mixing, that you leave no air trapped between the colours. With clay you need no air bubbles, otherwise in the fire you will have explosions, pots will blow. And normally jasper is fired for 30 hours. Our kilns are very large and it would take a 30-hour cycle, reaching a temperature of 1170 degrees centigrade.
time, he was pushing out the boundaries of humanitarianism. He was an ardent supporter of the abolition of slavery. He believed in the French Revolution. He was very pro the American War of Independence. And he was a great humanitarian in the respect that he built an entire village for his workers. And he paid some of the top wages in the 18th century. He gave them candles to work by in the winter, where other potters forced their employees to bring their own. Most Wedgwood is dishwasher proof and dishwasher safe. And I would say that it is all safe, providing you follow the instructions on the leaflets and follow the recommended named proprietary brands of dishwasher powders, because those are the tried and tested ones. What you mustn't do with your gold-edged Wedgwood is put it in the microwave.